What is up, everybody? Hope everyone is doing great. I am trying to do 7,000 things all at the same time, per usual. So I hope everyone is going really well. I've had a lot of people asking where I've been, and the reality is, you guys know that I'm on the road all the time. So Utah, Texas, Arizona, back to San Diego, and then headed out in a couple weeks to do it all over again. Popping on here because the last time I came on, we started talking about what does the first 30 days look like for any company that is starting from zero. And one of the things that I know when you are a newer founder and you are trying to figure all the things out, distraction is one of those things. And I think I did a lot of things backwards. So I highly do not recommend that you do anything my way. What's up, Haas? What's up, Sabrina? What's up, King Charles? I don't recommend anyone do it the way that I did. And what I mean by that is I was kind of too new to know all of the things that I was messing up on. But what I did do is because I had that sense that, hey, I can do this. And not only can I do this, I think I'm just going to break all the rules. So, one of the biggest things that, cash is like oxygen to a business. I've heard that said over and over again is thinking really scrappy about two very important things. And these are the things that people come to me with typically, like after a year of being in business. They say, Marissa, I've never gotten a lead from my website. To which I answer, did you design your website with lead generation in mind? And the answer is always the same, no. Okay, so if you didn't design the website with lead generation in mind, then you don't get to complain about the creative that put together the website. Because at the end of the day, a website designer is not a copywriter, is not a graphic. Like there's all sorts of elements that you have to take ownership of as a business owner. So one of the things that I've seen work really well for people is to get a simple kind of site going. And you can do this a couple different ways. You can use a link tree. You can use a tool called Book Like a Boss. You can even use Calendly as your website just for different services. So it's less about the website and more about how do I get people to take the action that I need them to take quickly. And so what we see most of the time is the biggest mistakes that people are making is they're investing in the wrong things. And what does that mean? Well, um, if you if you kind of look at it this way, you need to be able to capture attention quickly. You need to really figure out a couple of key things, but really like, what do you want to do? Right. So if you're a freelancer, if you're a nonprofit, like whatever it is, you really need to think, hey, who am I trying to reach? Who am I trying to connect with? And what is it that I'm going to offer them? What is going to be that point of entry thing that I want them to do? And what you need to spend some time is doing some market research. You need to see who else is doing the things that you want to do. A lot of times we focus so much on kind of things that you can add later. So niche, everyone talks about, oh, you've got to go after a niche. You have to go after the niche. And it's like, okay, maybe, but also that could be really helpful. But if the niche is too niche, then you've got to go to those places. So infiltrating Facebook groups, looking at LinkedIn, what's out in the market, what's available to you. The second thing you need to look at is when you look at how you're going to make your first kind of call it your first $10,000, how is that going to be generated? Are you going to make all the money? Do you need other people to help you kind of build the different things? Or is it, oh, of the 10,000, I make 5,000, but I need other people to help me execute? So that's just something that people don't think about often enough. And I encourage all of you to kind of sit and kind of think that through. The second piece is, you know, when you're looking at your business model, if it's sales, subscriptions, or one offs, you need to look at and make sure in your city that you have the right business license. So, again, small business development center is really helpful for free coaching and things of that nature. But also, you need to look at, hey, am I setting up my business to take money? Do I need a DBA? Do I need to go set that up? Right. Branding. Okay, sure. Start with a name. Don't overthink a logo. That's like, there's Canva and a bunch of things. Just know that that's probably not going to be trademarkable if you're using clip art and stuff. But payment processing. Now, this is really important. If you're a coach, you're going to want to stay far, far, far away from Stripe. That's right. You want nothing to do with that. They are freezing people's accounts left and right. So you want to go with a payment processor that maybe you have a banking relationship. Maybe you've already got some of these things, kind of dialed in. But what I will say is you definitely do not want to be anywhere near Stripe if you are a coach. They are freezing coaching accounts left and right. So I highly kind of, again, do not recommend. The other piece is when you're looking at kind of the branding and the things that you're setting up for the business, like everything is version one. So I love going into, I don't know if you guys use the Wayback Machine at all, but I love going back and looking at what my business looked like when I first started to show the progress over time. So a lot of times people, are putting stuff out like they're never going to make a change again. And that's just really not the way that it works, right? You're going to make things better. You're going to improve. You're going to create a better way of doing everything. But it doesn't happen, overnight. It doesn't, everything that you do is version one. And so the thing that kills me is that sometimes we're in this space of creating, more, clutter, not just in our brands, but in our businesses, but in our heads, right? So the less things you have to do in the beginning, the better off you're going to be. And I say that, and people go, "Well, Marissa, like, not everyone has, a budget." Well, this starting from zero thing that I'm teaching is really not about spending a ton of money. I think I'm asking people to spend less than like, $500 a month, probably even $100. We can get this banged out. But the point is that the goal of all of this is to allow you to kind of create some clarity. And again, if you hire a website designer and you don't have lead generation in mind, then that's a creative person that's going to do a really pretty website, but it's probably not going to get people to take the action that you want. And that's really hard to hear, because a lot of times people want this beautiful, aesthetically pleasing website. And while that's great, it's not necessarily going to generate the result that you need. And so when I tell people that, it pisses them off, but it's also like, it's on you, right? If you didn't do a good job defining what you wanted, then you certainly can't get mad at other people, right? For being clear or having that clarity. So, there's a difference between a funnel and a website. Funnels are definitely designed to put people in a path to make a buying decision, right? So, and even how funnels work is changing significantly, and I wanna be really clear, you don't have to do things the way other people do them, but you do have to generally understand behavior, right? So for me, I know that certain things are gonna happen in a particular way, and that's okay. When I looked back to different versions of my website, right? And I like to use my stuff because it's just like it doesn't have to be hard, guys. You don't have to make it hard on yourself, right? So let me walk you through some things that you can do for $0, right? So the first thing, and I'm going to go ahead and share this screen, so that you can kind of get a visual on it because I'm very much a visual person as well. So let me go ahead and show you this, and we're just gonna break it down. So this is right my website. And so the first thing I have is really quickly what we do. And then I'm asking people, who are they? Are you a company or are you a solopreneur? Now, the reason I do that is because I just want to establish very quickly the right messaging. So if you're a company, it's going to take you here, right? And if you're an entrepreneur, I've got a message that's for you. And then here's what we do. When I look at the web traffic, people are just coming to the web, then they go over here. They want to see who else has had a great experience. So they go here, they look at the testimonials. It's just pages and pages of them, right? That's it. They just want to know other people have made a buying decision. Something else that I do that is very different from most people in the market, and I can't say that, everyone has a different perspective of this. I just do it the way that I want. I put the rates in what I charge, right? I'm just very transparent about that. That's really scary for a lot of people, but whatever. Like I don't think it has to be the end all be all. And then I have a little bit of a bio, like here's something about me, here's some of the work, the campaigns that I've been on. and again, just like other people that are in my world, etc. So really, really easy stuff. So when I look at that, I'm not trying to cater to everybody. I've just got a very straightforward approach. When we look at websites, typically what we find is that all of the good stuff that you want people to know about you is hidden. And so I encourage people, it's like, hey, you don't need to do that, but also you need to figure out, what do you need people to do? So from that information, what happens is normally people book time, right? And again, you can use, like I said, a Linktree account until you get a website. You can use Book Like a Boss. You can create a one pager using Wix. You can use Squarespace. I don't care what you use. Lots of different opinions on that. People are like, WordPress obsessed, but there's so many, like Webflow, there's so many different tools out there that are $0. I highly encourage you to just look at what's out there, because you don't have to buy, like, you don't have to spend a ton of money. And again, you're thinking about, what is the thing that I can offer that's very defined that someone can purchase? Now, it might be time on a call. It might be like something that you do. You might charge them for an assessment. You might have, again, everyone has different ways that they work. But one thing we know is you have to make it easy for people to give you money. And a lot of times people make it really hard, right? And that's not the goal. The goal is not to make it difficult for someone to buy for you. The other piece that I think is really essential, and I'm going to show using my own calendaring system. Now, I love Calendly, but if you've got HubSpot, that's got an integrated calendar. Google also launched their really cool kind of calendaring stuff too. So that means that you're actually cutting expenses and you don't have to pay for outside things, which I think is great. Um, I think there's, controversial hot takes on this people have. For me, what I know is, if I have someone that really wants to come in and work with me, there's a lot of things that we do in the process of our design to make sure that we get the information we need. And I'm very direct. So I'm going to walk you through this path, take it, R&D it. I always say rip off and duplicate. But let me break this down for you. And again, if you don't have a website and you buy a domain, you can just forward it to your Calendly. So don't overthink it. It's not that hard. But also, you need to think of, what is the fastest way that I can get in conversation with someone where I can allow them to make a purchase or an investment. And when we say this, people are like, holy moly, right? But let me give you an example. So we basically have a 20-person cap on things that we do. We warn people ahead of time that the questions that we're going to ask are going to feel pretty invasive. And if that feels too invasive, we're just very direct in saying that you may not be a good fit. Right? Only 50% of the traffic that comes here follows through with the form, which means that it's very confronting. So again, we go in, someone picks an appointment, really easy, first name, last name, email. We're very direct. What kind of work do you do? And then we ask, hey, are you looking for a strategy, a resource, or someone to evaluate what you're doing and make recommendations, right? We get out the bat. We ask them very basic questions about their income and what their goal would be. And then we basically ask people to tell us, hey, like, what makes you unique about what you're doing? Um, what's kind of the thing that's like, why should basically I work with you? And if you know me, you know that I am not interested in working with people that think that they know everything. I need to know that people are willing to take feedback. And so these questions are very much in alignment with personality and stuff. So then, what are you willing to invest in yourself? How long have you been debating whether or not to get assistance? And then, are you able to make financial decisions for yourself, or do you need to consult with a partner? Part of this is, I only want to speak to the decision makers. I'm not going to play this back and forth game. I only meet with a certain number of people. So I just need to know that people have the ability to make decisions. No judgment there, but we would ask that those people be on the call. And then we ask, like, hey, like, are you going to show up? Right. So what we find is, if someone can get through this form, right? If someone can get through the form, number one, they're okay being confronted. Number two, they're also okay with answering transparent questions about where they're at, which makes them a more ideal client for us, because we want to work with the people that get that are getting direct feedback, that know that, okay, like, I don't have it all figured out, but this is where I'm at. And so, in this idea of kind of starting from zero, you're not spending a ton of money on a website. You're spending more time thinking, how can I get this person to take the action that I need them to take in the amount of time that I need them to take it, which is relatively quickly. all kinds of analytics tools and things out there for you to think about. But, a couple of great books that I often recommend to people are, really around kind of the ultimate sales letter is one. It's going to teach you a little bit more about that. Copywriting Secrets is one, just to identify how to write copy for your brand or your business if you don't have a huge budget. And again, you don't need to buy those books. You can go to the library, the original co-working space. And so in the journey from zero, from starting from zero, what you're looking at is, how do I get a website up that says what I do and makes people it easy for them to give me money? Two, am I qualifying people along the way to make sure that they're going to be able to actually make the investment that I'm doing? And three, I would spend time thinking about creating a really easy, digestible $500 offer, right? Even if the people choose not to work with you for the long term, whatever it is, whether it's health coaching, consulting, and social media management, any of those things, creating an intro level offer at a price point that's digestible makes it really easy for you to generate some cash. So, that being said, I will come back and visit you all later. Wanted to hop on for that. A couple of other things. I'm going to be running two different events. One is essentially like a roundtable for business owners that allows them to come in and learn some really kind of fun tips and tricks. So, I used to run this event all the time, and I decided, after just being in conversation with people, that, this is really, at least for my sake, I'm really, really excited about this. And it's basically, I'm not a coach. I'm not going to ask you how you feel about things. I'm going to tell you what to do. And so these are the three requirements for that event that I'm going to be running. One is that you have to be generating at least $10,000 a month in your business. Two, you have to be committed to being a lifelong learner. If you think you know everything, I don't have time for that. Like, no one knows everything, right? I enjoy. Last week, I got to be in the room with some pretty cool people that knew more than me. That's what makes it exciting. And then three, open and honest about what you've tried and what worked and what hasn't. And here's the hardest part. Most of the time when we go through this event, what we find out is the problem is the leaders. The leaders are the ones that are, you're creating your own bottlenecks, you're creating your own stress, you're creating your own drama, and you're not allowing people to help. So that event is going to be run, right before the end of the year. So that's exciting. That's in November. And then we have a retreat that we will be doing in Costa Rica in 2025. We will be taking 30 entrepreneurs down there, and it is a work and play kind of, it's not all work. It's just going to be some work, some play, some shifting and mindset work. And so we're really excited about that too. So, DM if you want any details on that stuff. Other than that, I'll be back next week with some more tips and tricks for all of you. Have a beautiful day.